Well, Alex there with a couple of hugs for his two former teammates who became world champions together, didn't they? So you're talking about the very top level players, and of course two new clubs for eFootball.Pro, Juventus and Bayern, coming into the family, two of the biggest clubs, most successful clubs ever in European football, and the fact they're both near the top of the table or can go top of the table is perhaps no surprise.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see because you could argue that Juventus may be one of the hardest hit clubs of the entire eFootball.Pro in terms of losing key players in the winter window. I mean, they've lost Piazza, they've lost Emre Can, they've lost Mandzukic, they've lost some really key pieces of the puzzle, so to speak, for Juventus. So we'll have to see how they decide to play around those missing players. Yeah,
because worth mentioning, if people are just joining the broadcast, this is the first match day where the teams have been able to use their January signings or not use those people who left. As you mentioned, there's some big names. I imagine Mario Mandzukic battering ram up front was a popular player on PES.
Yeah, well, as a plan B, I mean, if you don't go with Ronaldo as your centre forward, Mario Mandzukic would have been a fantastic plan B. And of course now they're kind of left with Gonzalo Higuain, and much maligned by quite a few football fans around the world, but you know, when he
great goal scoring record though.
Yeah, that's the thing. You put him in front of goal, you put him in a 6-yard box, he's not going to miss. But looking at the way that Bayern are now setting up, you can see there the selection choices of Javi Martin as a holding midfielder, and you can see there that they've employed Will as a secondary midfielder. Their reason for that is that they have particular traits that lend themselves to being defensive anchormen. So it basically just performs almost like a red brick wall in front of their backline. So you can see what they're trying to do. It's whether they can stop that irresistible force that is Juventus' attacking fire.
Yeah, can Dybala and Ronaldo and co break that down? Slightly adjusting the headset here. It's all important. Some players use them, some players don't, but a great insight that you always get here on eFootball.Pro of the final preparations of these guys. Eterito at the end of the queue. I'm sure he'll be looking over at his former teammate. They're currently very close. There we go. Just gave him a quick nod.
Yeah.
Maybe just some mind games going on.
It's fun to see, really, when you think about the rich competitive history of PES as an esport. More often than not, every one of these eFootball.Pro players would have played each other at some stage or another throughout the years, whether it be previous tournaments or whether it be in the eFootball.Pro itself. So good to see, obviously, former teammates Il Distruttore and Eterito going up against Alex Alguacil here. It's again poised for a great match.
Certainly is. Bayern, one of those teams who do have a coach here today.
Yes, Lutti, of course.
Yeah, Lutti, seasoned veteran of eFootball PES, multiple-time Austrian champion, knows his way around the game and is a tactical mind that you would rather have than not have.
So we're underway in game 3 of Matchday 5. First two fixtures, drama aplenty. What will these two great clubs produce?
You can see the stats on the left-hand side of your screen. Both of these two clubs with 5 wins, both with identical conceding records. So defensive-wise, they're pretty evenly matched. It's just the edge in the goal-scoring column you would maybe give to the old lady, Juventus, attacking from left to right here against the Bavarians, Bayern München, from right to left. Here is Ried. Unfortunately snuffed out there from Demiral. Anything really you expect to see here early on? Obviously, Juventus having lost a fair few players. I'll come back to you as Dybala looking for both Ronaldo and Cuadrado, actually spilt in the end by Neuer. Pushed almost back into danger, but shoved away in the end. I'll come back to my point, whereas, Juventus losing key players, you think that will affect the way that they play in any way?
I think with the likes of minds that Juve have, I think they're always going to find a way to perform with the team. They'll find their way forward. I mean, they have Ronaldo, they have Dybala, they have Cuadrado, they have these players that are able to really change a game, and I think they'll find a way against this Bayern team. It's all about really how Bayern want to set up and how Bayern are going to put themselves together.
One thing that Bayern will be pleased with is that injuries don't count, because of course Niklas Süle in Bayern life is out long term, but they can play fortunately, and Süle, I imagine, one of the first choice defenders of anyone. He is a giant at the back.
Yeah, he's a giant, physical, will be able to handle most forwards, if not all of them, and it'll all you know, a lot we talk about constantly is physicality really reigns supreme in eFootball.Pro, and that's what these guys will look for kind of more often than not with their defensive choices, is how physical are they.
Rabiot finds Costa and fed back to him. Ronaldo here is in behind, but smartly down in the end, I think, by Manuel Neuer. We'll take a look here what happened on the replay. I mean, it seemed to elude absolutely everyone apart from Cristiano Ronaldo, who never gave up on it, and it's the left arm, I should say, of Manuel Neuer, which palms it back into the path of Ronaldo. And gratefully for Bayern, they've had a few scares here early on, Wes, and they've survived both of them.
Yeah, you know, you have to ride your luck at some points, and I think that's what Bayern are going to need to do here. Neuer has cost them in previous match days gone by, but at the moment he's still keeping a clean sheet. And you may be able to hear over some of the broadcasts, you may be able to hear the VIP zone, who are heavily invested in this game, with it being second versus third. You can see how much and hear how much it means to some of these guys watching. Boateng
Beats Ronaldo to the ball, but only gets it as far as Khedira. Here is Cuadrado now. Costa with a bit of miscontrol. However, Bayern can't find the outlet. Here is Costa, first time to Ronaldo. Javi Martinez smartly away. That was Jose on defensive duties there for Bayern München. Quickly in by Dybala. Juventus playing at a lightning pace. Blocked in the end for a final third throw in here for Juventus. 20 minutes gone. They've looked the more commanding in terms of attack. See where this throw-in goes. Have a couple of players to aim for in the middle. It is into Ronaldo, who wins the header down to Cuadrado. Looking for Dybala, snuffed out low by Hernandez. Late challenge on him, but referee plays on. Müller combining with Vriet effectively. Müller again on that right-hand side. Just cheated inside. Bayern looking a little out of sorts here early on. Müller to Vriet, back to him now. Vriet popping up in all kinds of situations. Xerxes there adjudged to be offside, and that's by the slimmest of margins in the end. And I think Cuadrado there is going in the book for an earlier discrepancy. Confirmation on that there as the man goes into the referee's book. Here is Khedira. Ronaldo. That's a physical challenge in the end. Vriet now on the ball, has men in support, but breaks kindly here for Dybala, but he can only, unfortunately, shepherd it out for a throw-in.
Manuel Neuer, by far the busier of the goalkeepers in the opening 30 minutes. Some last-ditch defending. He mentioned physicality for defenders. Had to get that challenge absolutely spot on, otherwise, well, could have been a penalty and a red card as Wojciech Szczesny gets a very rare touch.
It's been all Juve at this point. It's interesting to see the Bayern game plan kind of coming to the fore. Is it a case that they're trying to just lull them in and try and attack from here? It's Goretzka, lovely inside ball, and
just offside. Just offside there by Alex Alguacil.
That's the first time we've seen a Bayern central midfielder that burst forward and be on the ball like Goretzka was.
Certainly, and it's nice to see Bayern again starting to play the way that we have seen them in previous weeks. They are up here at the top of the table alongside Juventus for a reason. Rabiot, wayward touch, almost be able to find Paulo Dybala. Cuadrado, though, leaves it, which allows Xerxes to gain possession. But it's been very scrappy so far in this first half, just under 10 minutes to go. Sort of the game we expected to see between these two. Obviously, former teammates knowing each other's tactics and stuff, so fully expected it to be like this. Vriet, lovely touch and turn inside, but again, Chiellini, that's Il Distruttore controlling him, able to cover nicely. And now Rabiot cannot get it past Goretzka, and it's really a chess match here in the middle of the pitch, Wes, and neither side really able to come out on top so far as Müller plays it into the final third. Back to him now from Vriet. Xerxes to aim for. Fired in, but Demiral well covering, and Juventus gladly will get it away.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I mean, if you're just looking at the body language of both sets of players, it's that typical gamer stance of sitting forward with your controller in hand as close to the TV or as close to the monitor as humanly possible. And you can see that, I think, once we see a goal, there's going to be a release of tension because it seems that way. It's incredibly tense at this point.
It's a pressure cooker waiting to explode. Rabiot. Ronaldo is far and away offside, as was Dybala. So the attacking gameplay there breaks down for Juventus as we enter stoppage time of the first half of this first game. Again, a very cagey affair, and as it often is in games of eFootball.Pro, both teams just analysing the opponent and analysing the other, and in the end it ends at a very even 0-0.
Oh, we've seen goals galore so far here on Matchday 5 of eFootball.Pro, but very, very little really to write home about in that opening period. Perhaps seeing just why these two teams are at the top of the table, and currently, because of what happened earlier, have the two best defences in 2020, and you can probably see why in that first 45 minutes.
Absolutely. We'll see what either side can do to break down the other. No doubt Lutti behind FC Bayern München will be giving his insight as well as to what can maybe be done different. Rabiot is intercepted there, and that gifts possession to Bayern München. Müller running in ahead, Xerxes in support as well, but Juventus defence so far, Wes, has been very organised. It's been very, very well oiled, and Bayern München have struggled really to get any form of clear-cut chances. Once again, they win the ball back.
Yeah, it's an interest. It's interesting for different reasons. It's not a goal fest, but this is very much an out-tacticking type of test.
Oh, Breed here on the edge of the box.
Oh, what a goal!
What a finish that is! What an incredible goal for Bayern München. Off the inside of the post and in. And that breaks the deadlock. 1-0 to the German club. Amazing.
Well, you wonder whether it was either going to be the old cliche, a big mistake, or a moment of genius to break this game open.
I mean, look at
and
this.
And it is the latter. This is exceptional.
Bang.
You do not save shots like that.
Absolutely incredible. Xerxes it is in the end, and I believe it's Jose controlling him. I mean, first of all, winning that header is crucial, but look at this connection. Bang.
It's an absolute thunderbolt. And we talked last match day about, come on, players, let's start taking some risks. That's not a percentage shot. That's we're just going to bludgeon this and we're going to see what happens. And my word, what a finish.
With the finish, it was Jose who was in charge of him. Extraordinary. Now, will we see this game open up a little with the deadlock broken 10 minutes into the second half?
Well, that means now Juventus, the onus is on them. Oh, look at this lovely run from Dybala. Covered there in the end by Matchday. Vital intervention there. Will force the corner, but as I was saying, the onus well and truly on the Italian club now. They've been in fine goal-scoring form throughout the entire season so far. We'll have to see. And I suppose the one criticism you could have, if any, from Juventus is that every single one of their players has chimed in with an equal amount of goals. We've never really seen one player, apart from Los Scandalo, Matchday 2, I believe, really take the game by the scruff of the neck and really start firing in those goals. So we might find out in this game, when they are, as they are right now, under a fair amount of adversity as a pause comes in for changes, who will be the player to step up for them.
And remember, potentially, if one of these two teams wins both of the fixtures, they will go top. But maybe as pertinent a point is the fact that, given how the knockout stages work, the top two go straight through to the semi-finals. So the difference between finishing second and third is big. So games between these two are key.
Let's take a listen to Bayern München.
How's your Spanish?
I'm learning.
¿Queréis seguir así o atacar por banda? Pon por banda, pon por banda. Vamos, venga, vamos, Vale, va. Vamos, niño, vamos. Con confianza, Tira mucho porque no por ahí. Vamos, no bajamos. Queda muchísimo, queda muchísimo.
talking about tactics, at this point, is this where having a coach really comes to the fore when the game's paused?
Yeah, well, you can see there, Lutty was well in conversation with his team. And like I said, to have a tactical mind like Lutty to back you up, it's a fantastic weapon to have that not many teams actually have. I'm surprised that there's not more coaches around the place because you can really see the benefit of having them there. And the way that they've changed their formations, they want to make sure that their formation just maintains its shape. They don't want to fall too far out of shape. And you can see that they've made changes. Arp's now on. You know, they've made those kind of changes. You can see their will just disrupting everything.
Yeah, Arp's through here as well. Has Delict coming across. Might look for Koeman on the far side. Arp's in. Oh, Demiral just beats the man to the ball, forces a corner. But we're talking about changes on the Juventus side. Triple sub. I think I saw Bernardeschi come on. We've seen Bentancur come on as well. I think Gonzalo Higuain is also on the pitch. So a triple sub from Juventus. The response maybe that is needed for them to get back into this game.
If you're Bayern Munich, the question now is one goal enough to win this game? And if you bet on yourself, you know, if it goes into the post-match conferences or the post-match interviews, you might want to need to back yourself and find out whether you've actually made the right decision or not.
Otherwise, you have Harry asking why you didn't.
Exactly.
Throw in right on the corner for Bayern München. You can see at that front post is the target. Wins the header against Delict. And there's so many players in there for Bayern München. Szczesny is gratefully able to gather that one for Juventus, and it's a long ball up to Cristiano Ronaldo. Wins the header down, but can't find Higuain. Bayern München so far have looked good. Look at the burst of pace here from Arp. Fresh on the pitch. Here is Kingsley Coman. Bree inside. It's a lovely goal. It's the second of the match for Bayern München. And it all comes from a burst of pace in the middle from a change that they made. 2-0.
Talk about the importance of substitutions and fresh legs. Again, all there. The fact that Arp wins it in midfield, it's that burst of energy, that burst of pace. Plays it into Koeman, plays it into Rit, and you can see it, you know, etched across the faces of Juve at the moment. Yep. They don't know what to do. Some
forlorn faces for the old lady, but this is well worth watching again. It is second fantastic finish for Marie, who has certainly enjoyed this match. Szczesny could do nothing about it, neither could the Juve players. The Inquisition starts, but Bayern celebrate, and now they are in complete control.
I know we said we were bad at maths earlier, but I believe that puts Bayern above Juve in the table.
Well, it will for now, because they were level on points.
I was going to say, you'd have to be really bad at maths not to know that. Perhaps more importantly, it would give Bayern the chance, if they were to win the return, to go above Monaco and into top spot.
See there the tactical switches now. Bayern are now in a 4-4-2 as opposed to the 4-3-3 they were playing in. And it's that defensive wall that I was talking about between Will and Javi Martinez, because they're both anchor men. When they're set to being a defensive midfielder, they will sit there.
Let's take a listen to what Bayern München have to say as they look to defend their 2-goal lead. A very small insight there into the changes that they've made, but no doubt it's going to be, you know, tactical.
But you can see there just how much the coach plays a role.
I mean, Lutty is, we've spoken about it in weeks past, really a calming presence, and it's an extra set of eyes that's removed from the emotion of the situation, which always tends to help out Bayern München. That goal from Mestre actually puts him into the top 10.
Interesting, he's the only Bayern player in the top 10, given we're talking about a team who are going second out right on their own as things stand.
Koeman, oh, that one almost curled into the goal, but unfortunately was curling the wrong way. And Juventus will happily take the goal kick, but I mean, within the next 1 or 2 attacks, Juventus would need a goal. But so far, no real sign of where it's going to come from, Wes.
No, and that's the thing. It's rare to see Juve be so devoid of ideas. They've brought Higuain on, who hasn't really been anywhere near as relevant as you would have thought he would. Meanwhile, the Bayern Munich substitutions have had all of the fun.
And it's going to be Bayern München in the final third with a throw in here once again. Look out for Arp. Look at this run. Has Reet in support once again. The two men up top for Bayern so far have been deadly. Here is Kingsley Coman. Back to Ivan Perisic. Smart from Bayern here. Retain possession all the way back to Manuel Neuer. Kill off this game. Really prevent any chance for the Italian club to make things interesting in the last 10 minutes. Boateng will play it long, and Arp again able to snatch the ball in midfield. Only for just a moment though. Here is Higuain. Bernardeschi in support of Cristiano Ronaldo, but the closing down of Bayern München early on has been tremendous here. Rabiot, Higuain looking for Bentancur, but cannot find him. Javi Martinez will be first there, and we're looking at 3 points here for Bayern München, unless Juve can come up with something special. Here is Cristiano Ronaldo. Back to him now, Bernardeschi in support, but we heard a satisfied noise there from Alex Alguacil. He knows that interception surely will kill off the game. Hernandez looking for Arp long. He's been a target for Bayern München all game long, but as we're into added time now, Bayern München, they'll be very happy with their performance here. A solid 2-0 and a clean sheet to boot, Wes. That's, I mean, against Juventus, not easy to do.
Yeah, no, it's not. And the added kind of positive that they've got now going into this second game, there's that carrot of if they do win that game, they go top of the tree, which would have been unheard of probably at the start of the match day. I think everyone had it pegged that, you know, Monaco would still be there, and now there's a little bit of danger in it for Monaco.
There certainly is. They were beaten earlier. Did win one game against Barcelona, but lost the other, and it means that because Bayern have just won 2-0 there, they can leapfrog the defending champions. But a very impressive 2-0 victory for Juve. And did we see their savvy performance as well at the end? I mean, there were a lot of, frankly, hoofs forward once they got the 2-goal advantage, but that wastes time, and it means that your opponents can't get the ball, certainly can't get the ball high up the pitch.
I mean, this is it. You know, from a Bayern München standpoint, you know what to do in these kind of situations because these players are so experienced. I mean, look at Alex Alguacil, has been a champion as far back as 2016. I think he won his first title as European champion. Was, you know, has been in world finals since 2015. You look at Jose. I mean, as far back as 2017, he was a European champion then, world finalist in 2017, 18, and Mestre has been up there as well. So these guys have been there, done that, and they know how to kill off games in those sort of situations. And that's the difference we're going to see when it comes to the knockout phases, Chris. When we, you know, whittle down to the final 6 teams, the cream of the crop here in the eFootball.Pro 2020 season. That's going to be the difference maker from the likes of Boavista, who maybe haven't had the amount of big game experience that the likes of these two teams up here and these two football clubs have had. It could be the difference maker.
And if Bayern can finish like that, no one's going to be able to stop them.
Yeah, quite. I mean, and again, we spoke about it, you know, in terms of you have individual brilliance, allow them to go out and express themselves, and that finish from Rip was absolutely superb. But you're not going to see that every match day. You know, players are going to look for that 100% chance of it's definitely going to, you know, it's definitely going to go in. You know, Bayern Munich have scored some very kind of easy on the eye types of goals. You know, obviously the goal that Thomas Muller was involved with. But you'll very rarely see a goal of that kind of quality and that kind of individual brilliance.
Tell you what, we listen to Bayern München. Let's take a little listen to the Italians.
Dai, giochiamo, tranquilli. Perché i movimenti non sono nemmeno precisi. Non dalla di prima, perché visto come la tocca, piano piano la tocca. Non la tocca veloce, forte.
Ok, normale, lo so, però se qualcuno si mette... Cioè, quando io sto con Costa, se tipo Rabiot viene vicino a me, io ho il tempo di passare, quindi devo darla diretta da Ronaldo.
Dai.
Well, pretty expressive on the Juve bench, I would suggest, after that opening loss to Bayern. We are now officially at the halfway point of match day 5. 10 individual games for you. We've had 5 of them. And Bayern are chasing down Monaco. They have them in their sights if they can win this game.
Juve, as they did in the first game between these two clubs, trying to attack very directly from left to right. Rabiot. As we start at an electric pace here. Combines with Dybala, looking for Costa with a smart reverse ball, but as far as Khedira, is it cleared? And he's caught late there as well, and now a free kick here early on in a promising position for Juventus. We'll see what they can conjure up from this. Again, within the first 5 in-game minutes, a goal early on might just rattle the cages of Bayern München. Cristiano Ronaldo goes straight for goal, it's deflected. It will be a corner here, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, you can see there that Juve are starting off very much in the early going. They're trying to push the pace early. I don't know whether that suits Bayern Munich's game plan or not, but it's interesting to see how this game plan of Bayern Munich has kind of come to the fore. They're allowing them to kind of exhaust themselves for that first 20-25 minutes. If they hold out and they can keep that game going, then all it'll take is one little bit of luck, one little piece of skill, and they'll find themselves a goal ahead again.
Xerxes finds Freak with a lovely pass. Matthias de Ligt there, being controlled by Eterito. Gladly clears that one away, and now that sets off Juventus on a counter-attack. Here is Rabiot, fed by Dybala. Ronaldo to Costa, covered in the end by Mestre. Khedira, Costa, Ronaldo, lovely, lovely goal. It's a tremendous goal from Juventus, and it's the type of goal they really needed against the Bayern München team, who have been, I mean, I dare say rampant so far, but they've really been the better of the two clubs. Juventus get one back though, and it's now 1-0 here in this second game, Wes.
Well, it's like we said, they needed an early goal. They needed to get amongst it. And lo and behold, who else but it is Cristiano Ronaldo that gifts them the early first half lead. And it was good play. It was good play. Juve seem to have found their feet, but now it's going to be, as we mentioned before, how do Bayern Munich tap into that experience? How, you know, they've got to go to the well now and really kind of, you know, find a performance again to kind of pick themselves up after an early goal from Ronaldo.
Really well worked from Juventus it was as well, and they're on the charge here once again, trying to feed Costa. I think that was Khedira in the end, hacked down late, so it will be brought back for another free kick to Juventus, but a tremendous start for the Italian club. Eterito with the goal. We were asking who it was going to be to step up. Could be the former world champion. Rabiot. Quadrado here. Looking for Ronaldo once again. Breaks to Costa. Finds Rabiot. Dybala making a late run. Ronaldo surely will be offside here if he touches the ball, which he does not. And that allows Bayern to come away here. With Muller finds Greek. Goretzka in support here as well, so an attack building here for Bayern. Good strength there from Greek, but it unfortunately is not enough, and now Juventus come away with the ball. Costa to Ronaldo, who in turn finds Juan Quadrado. Paulo Dybala reconnects with him. Again, the target is Ronaldo. You can see what they're trying to go for here, Juventus, but Bayern München, aside from the goal, so far have been able to prevent him getting any real clear-cut opportunities. Rabiot does so well, but the tackle from Alex Alguacil in the end is a no-nonsense one. Sets Bayern München off on their way. Back heel to Xerxes, has Muller and Vriet in support. The three lone attackers for Bayern München. Just outnumbered, in the end outclassed by Juventus. Now they bring the ball forward.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, you can see there that you know, Bayern are trying their best, but Douglas Costa finds his way. It's Juan Quadrado back to Costa. What a save from Neuer. Second chance. Even better save from Neuer the second time. Double
save there from Neuer, and it's actually Mestre in the end. You can see him just switch to Manuel Neuer here just to cover that near post, and it's so well worked.
That is a terrific save and a terrific piece of goalkeeping. What if game one was cagey between these two? Game two certainly is not. I think we're beginning to see the real class of both Juventus and Bayern, and of course Leo Messi stepped up, so Cristiano Ronaldo had to score in this match.
Of course, the two rivals here in the eFootball.Pro. Corner now though, to Juventus, who I suppose you could argue have had the lion's share of attacking gameplay. Bayern München so far really, I mean, struggled to break down the early pressing of their opponents. Able to defend well here though. 30 minutes gone now in the first half of this second game. Costa looking for Ronaldo, and actually runs all the way through. Dybala, Quadrado, Ronaldo in support here once again, and that's a clearance from Alex Alguacil. sparing the Bayern München blushes. Muller here can bring it forward. But it is in the end. Taken away by Rabiot, and it's often we see it in the eFootball.Pro season here, whereas the second game between two clubs can be a lot more attacking, and as they settle into each other's game plans and game styles, we often see more attacking gameplay. I certainly feel like that's what's happened so far here in game 2.
Yeah, this game feels vastly more open than the first game did. I mean, if Bayern don't get one back before the end of the first half, I'd anticipate tactical changes at half-time, but we'll see what happens. But looking at the moment, they're just struggling to find their way through as Pavard gets it back.
Goretzka, Muller is the target. Just a tangle of legs there, though, just inside the D. Bayern, though, have a good little spell of pressure here. It's something they've lacked so far here in the first half. Pavard cannot find that killer pass, though. I've seen them in previous weeks make that one time and time again. Good block. Scambalo cannot get the ball through, and here is Goretzka now. There's a moment of magic that set off the first goal, and I tell you what, it's another moment of magic from Matchday, and that's a beautiful goal once again for Bayern München. I don't think they score ugly goals here in the eFootball.Pro, whereas it's beautiful or nothing else.
I was going to say, someone needs to check up there whether there's a cauldron up there, because that was magic. It's absolutely mental how good these guys can be, and it's like we say, it's moments of pure quality, and the way that was brought across is superb.
We'll see it here again on the replay.
There is a delightful trick in here, isn't there?
There really is. The way that
the
skill, a little back heel. I suppose if you're Juventus again, you're expecting your defender there coming across the man to get a piece of the ball and make it more difficult, but this first time back heel.
It's a manual back heel as well, and that was the trick to it, is that if that had been a regular back heel, probably hits a defender, whereas with manual manual passing, it kind of has a bit of a freer feel to it, and lo and behold, it goes through the defender's legs and presents itself to a Bayern attacker.
Game on then towards the end of this first half of the second game. Matchday with his 7th of the season. He'll be chasing the men at the top of the leaderboard in terms of goals, and he'll want more here as Bayern are ending the half strongly, chasing down the top 5 goal scorers in the league so far as we enter the half. 1-1, all to play for here in the second half.
Certainly is, and Bayern still with the opportunity to go top. They need to win this game. They've given themselves real belief and hope of doing that with that late lever, and you can see it, the dejection on the Juve bench, who looked a little upset after their opening defeat to Bayern, and they looked a little happier when they were 1-0 up, but they need to ensure that that Bayern equaliser doesn't have them down for too long, shall we say, because they could easily then quickly unravel. But the second half is underway here. Game 2 of the 3rd fixture of Matchday 5. 2 more brilliant matches to come after this.
All to play for here for Bayern München. Again, to reiterate, all 6 points against Juventus would, thanks to previous results in the day, set them at the very tippity top of the mountain, the top of the league.
They'd be 1 point clear of Monaco.
So Monaco dropping points earlier against Barcelona, I should say, has really set the fire underneath Bayern München.
Yeah, this is not the situation you want to be in if you're Juventus. As Chris pointed out, Seoul is a man mountain. They've got weapons here that they can utilise. They beat the first man. I think anything's possible.
Swung in, dealt with for now.
Oh
no, looks like we've had an unfortunate disconnect here. We of course have our referees on the stage to make sure that everything is in order, and unfortunately, Wes, this sort of thing happens. So this is why we do have the referees up there on the stage to make sure that competitive integrity is at its paramount.
Yeah, we can confirm that one of the consoles was disconnected. The match will resume soon, and whether there is protocol now that they follow if this happens, which it does. It is a computer; these things do happen. Yeah. Just explain exactly what happens in this type of incident.
Yeah. So I believe what happened in a previous instance of this was that there was a new half. So that was early in the second half, I believe. So there'll probably be a replay of the second half. Yep. With the scores kept the same as they are now, but then you'll have whatever score is from that half time is then added to it. And you know, from a player standpoint, it's jarring because you know, as I've said, this infamous player bubble that you get into, you're now knocked out of that. You know, there was so much more of a different feel to that game, and now it's going to restart, and now it's going to feel vastly different.
It is. We have to say it is the same for both players, and the good thing, I guess, is that it happened early on in a half, where so we're going to go back to the original scoreline. It's 1-1. We've only missed probably about 5-10 minutes of actual gameplay. It can be a lot more frustrating if it happens in the 89th minute when one team is very close to winning.
Absolutely, and I suppose the benefit, I suppose you could look at it, is that if we are starting from the first half, it means that all these players have a fresh amount of stamina. These are the replays from the first game between these two. That was an absolute rocket from Xerxes in the end, I think it was. We'll see it here once again. This angle is perfect. Look at this, straight at the post, but just about goes into the goal off the post. It was a beautiful one, but yeah, so a replay to come. I'm not sure which side this benefits more, considering they were pretty much even at the half.
So can confirm, as we're looking at the replay here, there was a disconnect, so we've had a match which has had to be rejigged, if you like. You're seeing some of the moments, I think, of the earlier match between these two, which was won by Bayern. 1-1 it was in the second game, so we're going to have one more half. So the game will start again, but it will be, and any scores will be added on to that 1-1 scoreline. We're seeing here how Bayern frankly demolished Juve in the first fixture between these two. They were outstanding, and this goal proving just how good they were. Great team move, thumping finish. They'll be hoping to achieve that.
I mean, Bayern München might be one of the most entertaining teams to watch in the eFootball.Pro, purely based on the quality of goals that they score. I said it in the commentary, they don't seem to score ugly goals or scrappy goals. It's always a moment of magic to start things off, and we're seeing here Juventus score some goals as well in the second game, but it never seems to be a rushed goal or a little bit of luck come Bayern München's way. It's always a manual back heel or an absolute thunderbolt from the edge of the D. It's always something miraculous, and it's really amazing to watch. It really is.
Ronaldo getting on the score sheet there in this second match, which was the one which was disconnected and therefore discontinued. That was a terrific manual save from Manuel Neuer. Probably one of the best saves that we've seen today, and we've seen some pretty good ones.
Yeah, it was Matchday, I think, who came across Wes, and it's smart that he did as well, because if he didn't do that, I mean, we're probably looking at a different scoreline.
Yep, we probably are. This was the equalising goal that Bayern got. Lovely back heel from Thomas Muller, and then a really accurate finish beyond Gigi Buffon, sorry, Wojciech Szczesny, which is not an easy thing to do. That got them back in the contest. It was 1-1 at the half-time. 1-1 then about 5-10 minutes into the second half before we had the game cancellation, but the rematch will start soon. A new match starting at 0-0, but any goals will be added to the 1-0 scoreline. In this instant, are the team tactics now to be discussed? Are the players allowed in this instant to have a rethink about tactics?
Yeah, I mean, if the game's starting from 0-0, then they'll be able to. They'll be able to rethink their tactics, and kind of being out of that bubble. It's a perfect opportunity for Juve to come out of it emotionally and go, okay, so what were we doing right? What were we doing wrong?
Yeah.
How do we fix this?
The PlayStation has been connected, by the way, so the action will be resuming pretty soon. I can't see a massive amount of chat between the Bayern team and their coach, which perhaps thought I might, because it's been a good 5-10 minutes, but maybe they were happy with the tactics. They'll just go again.
I think so. I think that the way that Bayern prepare in terms of their actual training and their ways of kind of putting their teams together, I don't think it matters too much. I think the coach kind of becomes more important when it's within the game. So starting out the team, you could probably leave to Jose, Mestre and Alex to figure out themselves. It's those little nuances in the game where you need that fresh set of eyes when the game's live. I think sometimes we can sometimes think that a coach needs to be there at all times. Actually, I think sometimes it's just those little kind of those small moments that you need them.
We're back up and running, as you can see. So the two teams will be picked again. As I mentioned, we're starting a new game. It'll be a 45-minute match, though we won't be having any second half in this contest. And the score is 1-1. And you can see there again, going through the final preparations. You alluded to it, everyone's going to be fresh now, so we'll have a different feel to it.
Yeah, and that's, again, maybe that plays into the way that they set out their lineups, because we saw Arp come on for Bayern München. Him and Vriet up front as a two were really playing off each other very well. But they
and we saw that in the first fixture. That was key to Bayern winning that game.
Yeah, it was, and oftentimes it's Müller and Goretzka, those two, that often pull the strings. So I wonder whether or not they might bring on Arp, but they might elect to do it even towards the end of the first half, because this is almost like a two halves within one half.
Yeah,
it's almost like a mini game.
So why not use
we could see the earliest triple change ever seen.
We really could, just to utilise the entire fatigue bar and the amount of energy that some of the subs have. So, I mean, if you're only playing one half, why not use it?
Different feel to it, but ultimately the same. Big 3 points is the prize at the end in eFootball.Pro as Juventus and Bayern prepare for battle. So we're starting a new game if you are just joining us, but this is actually essentially the second half of the original match, which had to be abandoned. So it is 1-1, and any goals that are scored will be added to that. Remember, if Bayern are victorious, they'll topple Monaco to go top of the table.
Bayern then to start this half off, attacking from left to right. Can they break the deadlock and get the goal that would have essentially pushed them to the top of the table? Juventus, of course, will want to keep within touching distance of their opponents here. Obviously separated only by goal difference, I believe, in the league table, these two clubs. So a win for Juventus here would be very valuable as well come the end of the season. And it is the Italian club, well, I say that, in possession. Goretzka wins the ball back now, fed out wide to Hernandez. Thomas Müller. Nothing doing going forward, so we'll play it back, and it's smart that he did so because he's got the ball back. Here is Xerxes. Bonucci across though. Torito that was, stepping in and being a rock at the back just when Juventus needed. Paulo Dybala feeds Rabiot, but Javi Martinez at defensive midfield has been absolutely solid for Bayern München. Douglas Costa. Goretzka this time stepping in defensively. That was Jose to read the play, and now has Xerxes ahead of him. So Bayern München with numbers here in attack. Xerxes, Vriet and Müller in support. Can he find one of them? Finds Müller. Looking to feed in Vriet, but Torito again with the clearance. Bayern München come once again. Goretzka. Xerxes down this right-hand side, just about stayed on. Müller looking for Vriet. Delict across. Bayern, though, keeping the pressure on. Xerxes will chase this one down and surely will retain possession. And a pause cue for Bayern München, so maybe they're looking already to change up some tactics, but they've been the side in the ascendancy so far. Xerxes. Demiral trying to close him down. Can't seem to get past any of the defenders here for Juve. Will, though. Clatters into Rabiot, and Bayern again retain the ball. Vriet and Müller looking to combine in the middle, but Juventus, they survive for now.
Yeah, Bayern Munich trying to be first to every ball at this point. Throwing in slide challenges, just trying to get the bodies across the ball. It seems to be working because they've got the lion's share in the Juve half, but they have to be careful of this Juve counter-attack.
Rabiot.
Rabiot brings it forward.
On the ball here now. Him and Khedira linking up perfectly, just waiting for the perfect time to try and feed Paulo Dybala. In the end, Bayern assumed he would always be the target. Vriet there, lovely bit of control to let it run across his body. Has the strength as well versus Bonucci. Can't find Xerxes. He wins the ball though. And that will be a corner in the end.
It's cagey, defended, isn't it?
It is very cagey.
And as we suspected, only 30 minutes in. Remember, this is one single half, so we are going to see the early changes, and we are going to see personnel switches and tactical switches as well, Wes, because this is a huge 15 minutes coming up. I know we're going to talk about it a lot more, but remember, match day 6, small matter of Bayern against Monaco.
Yeah, and this will kind of, I mean, this result, I mean, it puts what would put them a point behind Monaco.
Just a point behind Monaco, as things stand.
So all of a sudden, then that becomes a vastly, I mean, match day 6, we're looking ahead, but it's going to be a vastly different game if Bayern can somehow come out with this with a victory.
Yep.
It'll change the dynamic of that completely.
We're talking about what? Only about a minute and a half of real-time action for Bayern and for Juventus to try and turn 1 point into 3. You can have a look. Juve look pretty happy with what they've got. Bayern, I think, maybe just making the final tactical switch.
Well, Bayern have made the same switch that they normally make in the second half, so
yeah.
maybe Harry's become their 5th coach.
It's the two up top. It's Arp and Vriet again. They were combining so well. Obviously, Goretzka and Müller not getting it done for them here halfway through the first half. We'll let the substitutes have a go here.
Woeful ball into the box.
Really poor waste of a corner.
Do you think there would have been an argument for starting with Arp, given how well he's done coming off the bench?
I suppose you could maybe give him a shout, but Bayern obviously setting their ways, setting their tactics. Quite happy with the way that they set things out, and honestly they looked the more likely to score between these two clubs so far here in this replay. Bonucci clears it up the pitch, and Perisic also a new name into the fold, as well as Koeman. Look out for him down this right-hand side. For now, though, it's out on the left, and it's another wasted ball. That one will be a throw into Juve, and more changes to come, Wes.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think both teams will be happy to kind of take this out as a draw. I don't think the break obviously in play. Obviously, it can't be helped by technology, but I think the break in play is kind of taking the sting out of this game quite a lot. And I think the desire, I think, is still with Bayern. Bayern still, you know, look like they're hunting for a goal, but I think ultimately, I think they'd just be happy to play this out for a draw.
Remember, this match will finish on the 45-minute mark, so just 10 minutes to go.
Can Juve turn the tables and secure 3 points of their own? That's a mistake, though. Perisic has Arp and Vriet to aim for. It's a bit of a mix-up there as they both go for the same ball. Time is ticking away here in this, essentially the final half of these two games. Lovely ball up to Cristiano Ronaldo. 2 in the box to aim for. The keeper's coming. Can he get back in time? Here is Paulo Dybala. I think he's just about back in his net, and again, it's the early press from Bayern München. 5 minutes to go. Juve with the ball. Demiral to Dybala, who's been playing very deep. I'm not sure that's where his talents are best utilised. For Juventus, long ball looking for Vriet, again wasted. Maybe Bayern at this point settling for a point against Juventus, and who again are around them in the table, Wes, but they would have loved these 6 points, and it might still come for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a tiniest bit of time as we see Arp.
Oh, this is absolutely crucial. What does De Ligt do? Arp maybe hesitating too much, looking for the ball back to him, and you think maybe the chance had gone. Ball still bouncing around. No time added on, so Juve have to go now. Higuain was through, but in the end, it will be Juventus 1, Bayern München 1.
Which means that Monaco remain top of the table, just a point ahead of Bayern, but now 4 points ahead of Juventus. That was, in a way, a frustrating end.